Sir, this whole thing about 42 squadrons, that Air Force must have 42 squadrons. Is this outdated? Do we need more? Is 42 enough? What is this logic of 42, sir?
I must tell you that whenever the country decides how many fighter squadrons it must have, is based on the threat assessment. The figure 42, before that, actually the figure was 39.5. A committee recommended, and then the government of India re-looked at the committee report and made it 42 squadrons. 42 squadrons has been there for a long time. There was another Tata committee subsequently which had recommended 60 squadrons. So there are different figures, but the holding figure today remains approved for strength of 42 squadrons. Why 42 squadrons? I know there are many people who have been skeptics, who have been writing that you in the old times you had MiG-21s, now you have Su-30 which can carry 4 times the load, you have Rafales which have got much greater capability. And why do you still require 42 squadrons? See, what has China got? China those days also had MiG-21s and 19s. What do the Chinese have today? J-20s. 5th generation aircraft. 300 of them
deployed,
built.
Deployed. In Tibet.
Sir. And in Xinjiang. Sir. So they're physically there and they're coming in large numbers. They build infrastructure. So when we look at threat assessment, look at the numbers of the Pakistan Air Force. Though a much smaller country now and less powerful. But China and Pakistan are the best of friends. They could collude with each other. They are both adversaries to us. Both are nuclear part. So we are the most threatened nation in the world today. So therefore, we must remember my personal assessment, which I write on this subject, that actually speaking for a two-front war, not even two-front war, a single front with China, you require close to 50 squadrons. Look at their numbers. They are trying to build up strengths which are to compete with the Americans. That's their competition. Yes. That's where the confrontation is going to be for them. So therefore, for us to think, no, they are not going to go to war with America. But all the capability they are building, they can use against India. Taiwan, Japan, and India. We are the 3 countries of concern to them. And we know that. 11 airfields in Tibet and Xinjiang, all infrastructure upgraded. At least 2 of them had significant presence of J-20s. And that Pakistan and Chinese are talking with each other. And Pakistan wants a 5th generation aircraft. You talked about AMCA, a 5th generation aircraft. The J-31, which is under development, which is in final stages. And they're talking of a timeline of 2029. And we all know the timelines of AMCA. While we are all support, Atmanirbharta, which is very important. If you want to be a global player, if you want to sit on the high table, you must be Atmanirbharta. And defense is where the Atmanirbharta is more critical. And therefore, are AMCA timelines realistic? We are still at the approval stage. When the AMCAs, of course, some metal cutting has started. But physically, the first flight, realistically, may take another 4 years, 5 years.
But that's a prototype, sir.
That's a prototype.
Sir.
From prototype, after you do the testing, reach the series production stage, the most ambitious targets are close to 2035. But my personal feeling, it could be 2038, 2040. Second, the rate at which LCA Mark 1 is, they were to be given to us by Tejas by 31st of March. Now they are, because of the delays in the engine, which has not yet fetched up. It is going to be perhaps November. That's what HAL is saying. That could be even later. The squadron strength is depleting. Last of the MiG-21 squadrons is going to be out next year. That's the one single left. And thereafter, the Jaguars, the Mirages, and others are in the queue. Now, if that be the case, today, if everything goes optimally as per plan, you can get 42 squadron not earlier than 2038. That's very far away.
That's very late, sir.
That's very late. And therefore, a lot needs to be done. Some hard decisions have to be taken. If AMCA will become operational between 2035 to 2040, sometimes maybe the first squadron will form in that period. Are we going to wait? I must tell you, the Chinese have decided that PLA Air Force will have 400 J-20s by 2027. By 2035, they will have 1,000 5th generation aircraft, and then AMCA would not inducted. If that is the kind of threat you are looking at, I think we better get our ideas right.
Absolutely, sir. And one more thing, sir. By the time we get our act together and actually have one single squadron of 5th generation fighters, sir.
Yeah.
China would have moved to the 6th generation, sir.
Yes.
And there would have been a small lab somewhere working on or a group of experts, Chinese scientists and engineers working on the 7th generation. They would have inducted the 6th. That is the speed at which they're moving.